Hey guys, this is Comrade J37. So wanted to show you guys some pictures of the upgrades I've done to my Xbox. In the last video we covered how exactly to soft mod a stock console. In this video I'm showing how to upgrade a hard drive in an already soft modded console. Not so much how to do it, but more on pictures and stuff of what I had done to upgrade my new SSD. Ended up going with SSD because when you plug it into your computer instead of using Chimp, the other method is plugging it into your computer. That's the adapter right there. It's a SATA adapter to USB. Pretty much when you plug it in, you don't have to use external power. You can just plug it in and it powers up from the USB. So I'm sitting here now backing up games that I already own for the emulators, and I've been collecting video games to the point where I can pretty much back up my entire collection on my OG Xbox, which is a really handy feature. That's why I went with SSD. The other component in this picture is the back of a SATA card that has a power source and it's the back of a SATA card that you plug power into and that you can plug the hard drive into, and the IDE cable. So you need that inside the Xbox. You'll see later, but hold on. Next, going on to the next photo. This is the IDE cable that showed up yesterday. That really was the last component I needed. There's three or four things I needed, and this was the last thing to show up. So I did the proper folds and whatnot, copied the folds on the old IDE and kind of made it fit. But here's a picture of me opening the Xbox. There are 6 screws, long screws, pretty damn long screws. I think they're T10 or, the Xbox uses T10, T15, and T20 hardware. So you need Torx T10, 15, and 20. Pretty sure those are the exact numbers. On to the next picture. We've got a picture of me actually loosening up the hard disk and the stock hard disk and the DVD drive. This is a rear shot of the console with everything up and away so that I can, get my first look at the console and unhook that IDE and unscrew the HDD. Go from there. I was really worried that I was going to mess up one of the pins for the IDE jacks, and luckily that wasn't an issue because, I had the IDE cable on backwards at first so it wouldn't reach properly, but I swapped it right away, and I got pretty lucky with the fact that I got it on the right way on my second try. This is a picture of the motherboard. I believe that's the CPU. And as you can see, my clock cap and other capacitors are in good shape. There's no leaking. They usually leak from the top or the bottom, but there is no leaking on any of these capacitors. It's pretty dirty, but you'll see in the next picture, but I hit it with some air duster after the fact, and Here's a picture of more capacitors, the radiators. I don't know if you'd call them radiators, more like heat sinks, but that's a picture of the more capacitors and the heat sink, all of which seem to check out. What you are seeing on top of the blue ones on the right is marker. It's somebody had marked it with marker, so one of the techs. This is a filthy shot of the capacitors to the right of the console, and I did end up hitting it with air duster after the fact, but that's an up close shot of the capacitors. Once I got everything installed, I had to do a few things, like I had to plug my HDD back in to get my Xbox Live profile back on a memory card, and so I could install it on the new hard drive. I messed that up. I shouldn't have automatically transferred. I should have automatically transferred my Xbox Live profile, but I had to go back and do that. Here's me stretching that IDE ribbon with incorrect folds and attempting to make it reach. It would not reach. That's when I turned it around and did it, backwards, which turned out to be the right way to do it. Once I got everything situated, I plugged it all in. You can see the power here. You can see the IDE to the SATA card. You can see the Samsung solid state drive. That is the hard drive itself, the SSD. It's all hooked up and pretty much waiting to be powered on at this point. There's me with that's the absolutely correct way to fold it. At least that's the way I've done it. There's no one way to do it, but those are the folds that worked for me. So on that IDE, another shot, better lighting. Here's a sky view of the folds on the IDE and the positioning of the SSD. I didn't have a screw. Some people say put one screw in the SSD hard drive and kind of let it float or make it snug with one screw because it's so much smaller than the hard drive, than the HDD. But I just used Velcro. I found my Velcro and I used it too. Here's a rear shot of the card, the IDE, and power to the SATA chip. You can tell it's on because the light is illuminated. That's when I powered it on, and I realized I didn't have my Xbox Live profile, so that's where this came in, and then I went back, at which point I did get my Xbox Live profile working, except at this point it wouldn't connect from digital copies of games that I was backing up. So that's when I used a program from the extras disc. It's like DVD to rip DVD or something. I forget the name of the program, but you download it from the extras disc, and then you are able to, when you rip games, it actually rips it properly to the point where you can connect to Insignia on these games. So you need an app from the extras disc in order to properly rip games so they're playable online. This is how my hard drive looked afterwards. That E drive was really full with DLC and stuff and emulators. I think now it's at maybe, E drive has maybe 4,000 megabytes free, 3,000, 4,000 megabytes free. And my F drive has maybe 25 games. Actually, one's about to eject. So when that happens, I will put in another disc and continue backing up the collection. But pretty much where I'm at is at about 410,000 or 410 gigabytes worth of F drive space. Working on like 400,000 or 400 gigs. The hard drive I put in was 500 gigs, so you don't get the full 500 though. It's more like 469, what you see here. At which point I have maximum storage capabilities. I think the only way to free up any more space on my E drive at this point would be delete some of the DLC that's hidden by game codes, and that would be kind of rough. And I think most of my E drive is now free, even though it's not depicted here in this picture. So anyway, that's kind of what you're looking at. I could have had a F and I think it was G drive if I had 1 terabyte at least, because then it would have separated F to be 500 gigabytes and G to be 500 gigabytes. But didn't go with the 1 TB. I ended up going with the 500 gigabyte, and I should be able to fit at least 80 games on there, around that, maybe more. I haven't really done the math, so it could be an exponential amount of games that I'm able to now back up onto my hard drive. Doing this from disk. I'm not doing this from online ROM downloads, but I just want to back up my collection. Thanks for watching, guys. That's been J37 mods his first Xbox with a 1.6 console. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna peace out, and peace.